Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an aspect of the race that might be the path to finding the winner. Well, Ladies' Purse Day on Sunday, always a good race, but first of all, before we look at a couple of races from that program, I'm going to do one of those things I do annually, which is to show our viewers something that I think you really need to be aware of if you are playing Hong Kong races as a punter, and that is John Size. Now, John Size, 12-time champion trainer in Hong Kong and currently languishing in 17th place on the table, but for me, he's still favourite to win the title. Why? Well, let's have a look at some stats around his career. Well, first of all, the stat of 12 wins from 23 attempts is pretty strong, but as much as anything, it's because the state of the championship on the 1st of November is often not what it looks like at the finish. September to October is a preamble to what comes next, especially in the case of Size. He's a noted slower starter, and on this graphic you can see his average number of winners for each month of the season over his entire career, with an obvious upturn in the months from November through to May, giving his season an umbrella type of pattern. So at this stage of this season, Size is just getting out of bed and stretching. He has a number of great chances on Sunday, and this is when he really starts to make a serious impact. Be forewarned. So back to Sunday's meeting, and the first race I want to take a look at is race 6, where our winning factor is the draw. Now, this is a decent looking class 4 over 1400 metres, and there are good arguments for a number of horses like Yun Long Elite, yet to run a bad race. Endeared is close to a win. View of the World won well first up. Solid Win was good against the tempo last start, as was Mr Energia, and Flying Luck had no luck at his last start. So, as you can see, there are quite a few chances in the race, but I wanted to focus on two in particular, the John Size trained Endeared and David Hall trained Mr Energia. Now, firstly, Mr Energia. Now, he was explosive, winning first up on the dirt this season, and that was in contrast to a fairly lukewarm sort of form in his first campaign, and you had to wonder if it was the dirt track. Well, he showed second up on the turf that he can also perform. This is race 59, he's in gate 10, light and blue colours, and Mr Energy is fast away, but rider Harry Bentley is very conscious of the speed drawn inside him and lets that go, giving up several lengths in the early stages. He has to settle at the rear, 3 wide, but with a back to follow. Now, the pace is sound without being strong, but the sprint home is fast. The winner, Fighting Machine, is just up ahead of Mr Energia in red and white, and they both do a super job to outrun their rivals. Size trained Endeared, he's fit after 3 runs already this season and didn't really have a lot of luck at his latest run when returning to Class 4 last start over 1200 metres. This is race 97, he's in gate 11, yellow and red colours, and Endeared jumps okay, but those under him are faster, and he surrenders ground before holding a place in midfield, but wide and facing the breeze. Now, the heat map here is instructive. The first half was slow, leaving the leaders especially Awesome Treasure on the inside rail, with plenty of petrol for a strong sprint from the 600 metres, and it's very difficult to pull ground back in that kind of a race scenario. But I really liked how Endeared sticks to his task here, even after the tough run. Now, Endeared was a good winner over 1400 metres last season in this grade, so he gets the right kind of proposition. But the draw, maybe not quite so suitable. When we look at the map, the pace looks more genuine than he got last time, with both Satirical Glory and Ariel likely seeking the lead, and there are others with tactical pace as well. Endeared can hold a little better position over the longer distance, but his gate 10 still looks a problem and he could be kept wide. Yun Long Elite's draw is a little tricky as well, and View of the World is out there too. I guess the question for Harry Bentley on Mr Energia from a better draw, after we saw him jump so well before getting back last start, is that, well, he has the option to sit closer from a better gate, but will his horse have the same finish if he does? At least this time he has all the options. So the tip from me in race 6, Mr. Energia. His winning factor, the draw. Now, he was explosive first up, winning on the dirt. He had to show that he could bring that form across to the turf. I think he did that last start, even though he was defeated. And this time he gets a good draw, while some of his major rivals are drawn wide. The other race I'm going to look at is the final race, race 10, where our winning factor is race fitness. Now, this is a Class 3, 1400 metres, and features two talented 4-year-olds up in class off wins, Steps Ahead and Aero Invincible. There are also cases to be made for the talented top weight, Mighty Stride. Beauty Crescent, still a maiden in Hong Kong, but a chance from a good draw. And Prince of Porty, who keeps running good races without much luck, but has to cope again with a wide barrier. But it's really those 4-year-olds that I want to concentrate on here, Steps Ahead and Aero Invincible. Now, both of these horses showed some talent in relatively light careers so far, and their connections, I'm sure, would like to think they're going to progress and be a part of a race like the Classic Mile early in the new year. And of course, they're going to have to keep winning to do that. But let's have a look at what they've had to offer so far. And Steps Ahead, well, he was beaten at his first 3 starts last season before finally breaking through to win on the final day of the term. This is race 827 last season. He's in gate 6 with red and yellow colours, white cap. And Steps Ahead is one of the first away, and his rider Zach Purton puts him in the firing line in a race that is very evenly run indeed. In fact, almost bang on standard for every section. It's a smooth trip, and the favourite comes into the straight poised and ready and comfortably takes his rivals in the final 250 metres with minimal pressure just to keep his mind concentrated. Now, you wouldn't say he blew them away there. It was more of a tradesman-like sort of win, but he hasn't really put a foot wrong. He's now had a break. He's going to come back probably a stronger horse after his time off, and he's certainly a horse with it all before him after only 4 starts. Now, Aero Invincible, he's had a few more starts than that, and he's often dropped the ball when he's been in behind other runners, over-racing, misbehaving, and has been pretty costly at times for punters. But Zach Purton took all that out of the equation last start when he took him straight to the front. This is race 80. He's in gate 2, pink and green colours, and Purton takes Aero Invincible to the lead, so he won't have other horses around him this time. And Aero Invincible, frankly, looked like he really enjoyed himself this time, in contrast to some of his other runs. As the heat map shows, he should have enjoyed himself too, getting quite a soft time of things for most of the race, controlling the pace to the home straight, then letting down with a very strong final sprint down the last 400 metres. Now, on the line there, Aero Invincible, he was all out to beat Mark Wynn, a horse who will be favourite in an earlier race on Sunday. But it was still a solid enough win with 134 pounds to carry, and like Steps Ahead, he will drop sharply in the handicaps going up in grade in Sunday's race. Now, playing devil's advocate, when we look at the map, you'd have to highlight that Aero Invincible really did get everything run to suit him last time, so he was entitled to finish strongly. But when we look at Sunday's map, I'm not sure that that won't be the case again. Once again, he's got gate 2, expect Zach Purton to look for the lead, with Sovereign Fund and perhaps wide-drawn Lopan Spirit, the other possible front runners, and Steps again, I think, dropping in behind them. But I just don't see a lot of serious pressure going on the leaders here, and Purton will get his opportunity to dictate the race again. So the tip from me in race 10, Aero Invincible. His winning factor, race fitness. Now, I don't think there's a lot between these two up-and-coming 4-year-olds, Steps Ahead and Aero Invincible. Certainly, there's a possibility that Steps Ahead is going to turn out the better of the two with time, but he hasn't run for 4 months. Aero Invincible is fit and in winning form, and I think that gives him the edge in this race on Sunday. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.